Welcome to Author Timeline Thursday with a quote from Bruce Arians, who said, "Deadlines are not a burden, but a gift." Aren't they ever? I love them. They force you to prioritize, to focus, and to deliver. And that's why I love them, because they force me to get things done. So that's what we're going to play with a little bit today. But first, my name is Christopher D'Armani. It is my pleasure, it is my passion to be here with you today, because I empower aspiring Christian nonfiction writers to share your trauma to triumph story using the personalized roadmap for writing success so you can share God's gifts with the world. That's why you want to write a book, is you have a message you want to share, right? And I love helping you get that done. But first, let's go play with a little bit of stuff around focus, because as I think you'll see, deadlines are one of your very best friends on your journey down publication highway. The simplest deadline is the one attached to your daily writing session. It may seem inconsequential, like it's just one session, right? Who cares? Yet this deadline is arguably the single most important one of your entire day. Ecclesiastes 3:1 is a beautiful verse that reminds us about the importance of doing things when it's the time to do them, to meet those deadlines. To everything there is a season, a time for every purpose under heaven. Fairly straightforward, that, isn't it? I love it. Use your daily writing deadline, your daily writing session, and whatever that time slot is you've attached to it, to focus on one single task, and that is writing the next piece of your book, whether that's the next sentence, the next paragraph, the next page, the next whole chapter. Whatever the piece is that you have put down to write today, get that done, and get it done by your deadline. You'll feel really great when you do. And for a number of reasons. Number one, of course, time is our most precious resource. If we squander it, it is gone forever, and we will never get it back. Not ever. This is one of the reasons why I use deadlines and why I highly encourage you to use them as well, because they're really effective tools for making sure that we value our time. That's all a deadline is placing a value on a certain amount of time. So use your deadlines, your daily writing session deadlines, as a way to prioritize your daily writing sessions, to make sure that you actually schedule that thing on your calendar, that you show up at the appointed hour and you do the deed. You write, whether you feel like it or not, because that is what's important. Your feelings about the writing session. There are days I don't feel like writing, just like you, right? It doesn't matter. I want to assure you that your feelings about writing today really don't matter. One of my favorite tricks, one of my favorite ways of lying to myself to get myself to write, especially when I don't want to, is a simple 2-minute dollar store timer. On those days where I don't feel like writing, I simply pick that sucker up, I flip it over, and I lie to myself. Christopher, I say, you only have to write until the last grain of sand falls out of that timer. You can do anything for 2 minutes, so do this. It's a beautiful lie, because I actually want to believe it. I want to believe that in those days where I don't feel like writing, that, well, all I have to do is write for 2 minutes. I can do anything for 2 minutes. So can you. But here's the beauty of that little white lie. By the time that timer has expired, I've long forgotten that I've even set it, because it's done the thing that's required. It's got me started. And yes, it's a false deadline, but it's one that still motivates me to get something done. And once I'm started, I don't want to stop, which means I will keep writing until whatever that piece of the puzzle is for my book today, until that gets done. So I highly encourage you to embrace deadlines in your day, whether they're simple, silly, crazy ones like my 2-minute timer, or whether it's your 30-minute session for writing today, or your 60-minute session, or whatever the amount of time is you've allotted to write based on your own personal schedule. Because if writing a book is important to you, and you wouldn't be here with me if it wasn't, ask yourself this: what can I do less of today Or what can I drop entirely so that I can make more room in my life for writing? Because there is something. There is always something. I don't care how crazy your day is. I mean, I used to work in the movie industry where we would work 18-hour days. And that was kind of the norm. It was retarded. And yet, I always found a way, whether it was, at my taking a piece of my lunch break, whether it was getting up a little bit early and writing for 15 minutes before I left for work, there was always a way to make some time to get some words out of my head and onto the page. And that's the purpose of a deadline, to get the words out of the page, out of my head and onto the page. And if you don't want to buy into all of that, then I would ask you to consider this. Someone is out there desperately waiting for your book. They have the problem that you and your book solve, and they're stuck in it, they're mired in it, and they can't find a way out. And unfortunately, even though they've heard many of the things that you say in your book, they've never heard them the way you say them, the way you write them. So they haven't connected, they haven't resonated. And so they're still stuck in that problem. And here's the thing that I want you to embrace. For that person, for that group of people who can only hear the solution the way you say it, they are stuck. They will never be able to get out of that place until you write and publish your book. So consider your book, your published book, as their path to salvation out of the trauma and the stuff that you endured and were, through God's grace, were able to find a way out of. You need to share that gift with them. They can't hear it any other way. They really can't. So if you won't do it for yourself, do it for them. Because I guarantee you, they are out there waiting for your book. They really are. So if you find deadlines to be something, they're a burden, they're cumbersome, they weigh you down, I would highly encourage you to simply shift your attitude towards them. And it's really, really simple. Instead of focusing on a deadline as being this big pressure-filled thing that's, holding you down, look at it as the stepping stone to your success, the stepping stone to your published book. It's just one more piece of the puzzle on your journey down publication highway. And every one of these little small deadlines, these daily small stepping stones, is the thing that will guarantee your book gets written and published. It will guarantee it. Our journey down publication highway can be long and winding and twisty and turny, and there's ditches to avoid and washed out bridges we have to find a way around. But through all of that craziness and whatever the circumstances of your life are right now, no matter how busy you are, there is a way to carve out a little bit of time to write today. It may take some thinking, it may take some bit of a challenge to figure out what can I drop, what can I do less of, what can I just ignore and get this done because this is the most important thing. Answer that question for yourself and then sit down and write during that time. And like the image on the screen says, your success lies ahead. Your success is guaranteed. That's it for today. Embrace your deadlines. Have fun with them. Use them to focus and deliver God's mission for you. He put this book on your heart to write for a reason. So embrace the challenge, embrace the calling, and figure out a way to get it done. Have a fantastic rest of your day. I'll talk to you again tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Bye for now.